everybody, welcome to a new month and welcome to my channel. I'm Nicole Watt and this is Nicole Watt Creates. We are here today for our Thursday live stream Running with Scissors, and I'm so glad to have you all here with me. It's a new month, and that means we are doing something new, and of course this month is our Stamp Focus Challenge. So welcome to all of our challengers. I'm so glad to have you here. We are going to have an exciting and amazing month. You guys have already done some amazing work going from collector to creator, whether you know it or not. The work that you have already put in the first few days of this challenge are getting you to move that needle. And by the end of the month, you're going to be doing amazing work. So, hey, you know, I don't like to do a whole bunch of chatty chat. I like to see everybody chatting it up in the chat though, so welcome. If you are new here, of course, do pop your name into the chat and say hello. Tell us where you're from. We'd love to know. We are from all around the world, and we're having a great time here. So say hello. So glad to see you guys. If you're a challenger, let us know. Say I am taking the challenge, because we want to know that too. All right, so some quick announcements. Of course, this month we are doing the Stamp Focus Challenge. Next month we will be doing a whole bunch of pink projects for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it will be a fundraiser month. So save up all of your scrapbook.com orders. Proceeds from my affiliate sales for the month from scrapbook.com will be going to a breast cancer organization. All right, so that's next month. Of course, if you're not on my mailing list, you can get a technique freebie, which is some of the stuff that our challengers are getting to see this month are our technique sheets and part of the technique library. So if you are interested and curious about the technique library and all of that has to offer, you're going to want to grab the technique freebie. It will show you a little bit about that. It will also get you on my mailing list and get you in the know for everything that I am doing here. So go to NicoleWattCreates.com/technique freebie to get that. It's totally free. Hey guys, it's Labor Day weekend here in the United States. So we've got sales going on. I am updating the Crafty sales page. Check it out before you do any Crafty shopping this weekend to see if there are any sales at your favorite craft stores. They are affiliate links, but that is always at no additional cost to you, and it helps to keep you on the up and up with any kind of sales going on. So I will be updating that after the challenge and everything today. So make sure that you check that before you go shopping this weekend. All right, I always appreciate your guys' support. You know that. So I've got my affiliate links down below. It will take you to a full list of everything that I'm using today. If you need to do some crafty shopping, I appreciate it when you use my affiliate links. Those really help out us crafters here on YouTube and elsewhere who are providing tons of amazing free content for you every week. So thank you for that. If you don't need to do shopping, of course, you can always use my tip jar. The link is down below and also in the chat here. That will take you over to PayPal, and you can provide a little bit of cashola for a cup of coffee to keep me going as I create all this amazing stuff. Just like these ladies here, thank you so much for throwing some cash in the tip jar this last week. I appreciate all three of you so much. So thank you. Of course, you can always subscribe to my channel as well. Thank you to all of these new subscribers. My channel keeps growing week over week, and I appreciate each and every subscribe. When you subscribe, do click on the bell so that you get updates when I am going live here and when I've posted new content. That way it'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on here on YouTube. So click that thumbs up for today's video. Let everybody know that you loved today's content. And don't forget to click the share button and let your crafty friends know that we are crafting right now and they should be here. Absolutely. All right. So, hey guys, let's talk about the Stamp Focus Challenge. All the challenges are in. We've got a amazing group of people. They are already working on their techniques. They are sharing their techniques. They're sharing everything that they've been doing to get started, all that kind of stuff. If you missed the Stamp Focus Challenge, signing up for it this time, check it out as we go along throughout the month, and you want to sign up for it again, right? Oh boy. Becca says that she's watching me on her supersized screen in the living room. Sorry. I hope I don't break your screen. Anyway, hey guys, we've got some winners because we've already been in the challenge kind of for a week. We had like a little pre-week where people were getting used to the platform and submitting some pictures of what's on their desk and doing their pre-challenge game board to get used to the entire platform and everything. So we've got some winners. So drum roll, everybody, and our winners are Melissa S. She has won a $50 prize pack, and Pam A. won a $10 prize pack. So it pays to play. If you are in the challenge, don't forget to upload your projects into our weekly in links. Both your techniques and your final projects. Enter as many times as you like. The more you enter, the more chances to win. And there you go, ladies. Your prizes will be shipped out automatically because I have your address, so we're good to go. Excellent. Yay. Congratulations, guys. All right. So, hey, let's talk about some more serious stuff like crafting. Shall we? I mean, prizes are serious too. That is some serious business, right? Okay. Back just a hair here. All right. As you know, our stamp focus stamp for the month is this amazing piece of art from Picket Fence Studios. It's called Feed Your Soul. You are going to see this every week this month. And we're going to use it in lots of different ways. All right, I'm pairing it with a few other stamps today. Swanky Friendships and this adorable bee set. This is I Be Fierce. You're going to see these throughout the month as well. Now, here's the thing. Stamp Focus Challenge. It's all about one primary stamp set, but there's just one little sentiment here. So I wanted to show you guys some different options. You can use this sentiment the entire time if you want. There's no die for it though. So you'd have to fussy cut it or maybe die cut it in a circle, which actually we're going to do. So feel free to pair with any sentiment set you have, whether it's a die cut sentiment or it is sentiment strips. And then I'm going to be using these cute little bees. If you have a bee set, that's great. If you have little butterflies, that works too. You can omit them completely. And you'll see that as we go along, that you don't need these extra stamp sets. You really just need this one. All right. So we're going to use this stamp. And let's see, what else did we get here? So our challengers this week have two, let me switch my hands here. They've got 2 technique sheets, right? So hopefully you've downloaded your technique sheets and you've got some notes in here. Maybe you've put some samples in place. I've seen some of you guys working on your Faux Cyanotype technique, which we're going to go through today. We talked about easily matching our sentiment dies as well. So it's not always about technique. Sometimes it's about organization and tool usage and all those kinds of things. So, and taking care of what you already own, right? So it stays in tip-top shape for a long time. So those were our techniques this week. And of course, we've got our project, which is Sunny Cyanotype Blooms. And I love the look of cyanotype, but I'm not going to buy all the extra stuff to do it because that's just another craft around. So I figured out how to do it with paper and supplies that I already had. And this is what we're making today. So we've got our instructions and our project. These are all ready to go. So hopefully you guys have those all printed out and you're ready to follow along. So let's take a look at today's actual cards. All right, so here's the card. You've seen it a lot because I've been using this in my advertising, right? So amazing, right? And so this is what I'm calling Faux Cyanotype. This is not embossing. It's not heat embossing. It is a different kind of resist. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. And it takes a little bit of patience, but I know you guys will get it. All right, and so here's another one. So cyanotype, of course, is traditionally blue. And it uses the sun to create these beautiful looks. You put the cyanotype mixture on paper or fabric, and then you place things on top of it, and the sun will turn everything blue except for where those items have been placed on top. Okay, so it's like a sun resist. All right, but because we're using paper and a different method, we can create whatever colors we want, right? We don't have to do just blue, which is totally gorgeous. We can do ink blending, and it's amazing, right? So we hopefully maybe we'll get to this one. We're definitely doing the blue one because that's our core design for today. And yeah, let's get going, guys. I need to change. Why does my chat always start with top chat? I want it to be live chat. Otherwise I miss comments. There we go. All right, guys, let us, let's try to get all of that done as quickly as possible so that we can really get to the crafting, because that's the important part. All right. So this month I'm using my large Misty, my original Misty, because this is a larger stamp. And so it's not going to fit into our mini Misty. And I don't know why, but I have this like completely repackaged. I don't normally do that. Let's pop that in there. All right. It must have been when I was cleaning it and I was like, oh, I'm going to make sure I have it cleaned really, really well. Okay. So today, this is, you know, I don't normally say advanced techniques because I don't really think any technique is advanced. It just takes more practice. All right. And that's definitely today's technique. It requires a little bit of practice, as our challengers have noted. All right. So I'm just going to pop my stamp here in the corner and get it on the lid. All right. So our secret sauce for today is something that I bet you had on your shelf for maybe years, but you like didn't, maybe you used it once and then the nozzle got clogged and then you had no idea what to do with it anymore. And you were like, it's going on the shelf and it's been collecting dust ever since. So do you have this? Yes, Tim also would probably be really sad if you weren't using it on a regular basis, but I'm going to show you a cool way to use it today with our stamp that maybe will get you started back into it. Okay, if you don't have Distress Resist Spray, another medium that works really well is this matte medium by Liquitex. It's just a little thicker than the Resist Spray, but it works just as well. So if you have something like this that is a liquidy matte medium, this will probably work too. All right, but we're going to be using the Resist Spray today. All right, but here's the great thing: we're not spraying it. I'm gonna should have checked that before we started. It was a little sealed shut. All right, so we're going to open it up. Yours might be the same as mine. All right, and I'm going to pour some in this little cup here. This is just a little spare yogurt cup. All right, and this is what we're going to use. So let me zoom in just a little bit more so you can really kind of see what's going on. I was going to use my third camera today, but I couldn't really figure out a good position for it. So, all right. So CC says, and you know what? I think I'm going to try just one more time to get this in a position where maybe it will work. CC says, thank you for saying it needs practice. No, I don't feel like a loser. Oh, CC, you're never a loser. Yeah, it just takes a little bit of extra practice. So let me, I just want to see if this is a good position or not. That one. Yeah, okay. So what I want to do is that, because I really want you to see. And Becca, you've got a great view, right? Because you're really going to see what's going on here. All right. Hey, excellent. So hopefully none of these freeze, because sometimes it does that right when I'm using all three of them. Okay, so I've got my Distress Resist Spray in a cup here. So I can actually wide out just a little bit more here. All right. And I might actually need more. And I don't care about this container, which is great because it's just a throwaway, right? And I've got a sponge. This is a makeup sponge, right? So it's nice and dense. So for those of you that have maybe been having problems with the sponge, use a more dense sponge like this makeup sponge, right? Okay, so you see how dense that foam is? This is, I think, important. All right, and then I'm using just regular white cardstock that is good for ink blending. All right, so let me make sure my magnet's in a good place. Yes, we're good. Okay, so here is the next key. We have to move fast. This stuff likes to dry fast. It likes to stick to the paper really fast. So you can't close the lid and leave it on here forever. All right, so you may even want to try just doing part of it once and then I'm stamping again and doing the other half. All right, so you see how I'm getting this all over. All right, so let me just go back to the my regular hands view so you can see what's going on here. All right. So the nice thing I think about the dense sponge is that it doesn't allow it to go like all over the place. All right, so quick, fast, 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 fast. Smush just a little bit and lift. See, it took my paper with it. That's all right. Pull it up. All right, so the key is we don't want it, we don't want the paper to get so stuck to this that paper sticks to your stamp. But what I can see, and what you can start to see, is that spray has stuck to the paper a little bit, and it started to create the image. Now, I kind of recommend, I'm finding better results doing this twice. So let's get this one. What I'm going to do on this one is just get half of this nice and done up. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. So personally, like me live, I can see the lines and the design of the stamp. So I just did half of it. So now let me do the other half. See how fast I'm working, guys? When I did the technique video for this, which the challengers have access to right now, I moved fast. All right. So yeah, I'm a little bit slow on lifting the lid is what CC says. Yeah, so you just need to push and then lift. You don't want it to hold on too long. So I think this one is going to turn out great. I can see, there, you guys can kind of see it too. Some really good detail. And you see all those little foamy bits and what have you? That's going to dry and it's going to create something really, really cool. All right, so let's do a couple of these. And that way when we do the ink blending, if we've got a couple that are not so great, that's okay. Now, another thing that I have noticed is that this builds up on your stamp over time. So if you start to get something that looks just more like a blob all the time, then you might want to clean your stamp. All right. So coming along, although sometimes maybe a little bit of the grunge on here gives you the look that you want. Here's the thing. This is kind of like a big surprise project. You really don't know what you're going to get until you put ink to the paper and then you see what your results are going to be. All right. All right. So Elizabeth says she's paranoid that the resist spray will get permanently stuck to her stamp. Okay, so this is why in my technique video, if you're challenger, I said I have water waiting right behind me. So as soon as I'm done with this, it's going in the water to soak. And I do have a little bit of Murphy's oil soap in there to help lift up the residue on this. All right. So this is a water-based kind of material, right? So it will come up off of your stamps. I have had no problem with it. All right. So I'm pretty happy. I think that second one is going to work out okay. Let's just do one more. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, Cece. So she wants to know, can you ink and stamp several times? Yes, absolutely. So if you feel like you haven't gotten good coverage the first time, maybe you think, oh, I missed a spot or something like that. Yeah, go back and do it again. All right. So you see, I'm doing these like 2 or 3 times each. All right. So here's our new one. This is our first stamp on this. And I can see that it's got some good lines and everything. But I do want to put more on it. I want to get a little bit more of a dense look on my flowers. I don't want them to be super thin or anything. All right. If I wanted them super thin, I probably would just do emboss resist with white embossing powder. Right. Yeah. So definitely, like I did on the very first one, you can ink up half of it and then stamp, and then ink up the second half and stamp if you think that that works better for you, because this is kind of a large stamp, isn't it? All right, so this one I'm going to put lots on. All right. All right, so let's see, Rachel is sharing some, here we go. All right, so here's my last stamp on this, and I think this one is going to be really good too. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside to dry. Now I really need to clean up. So this guy is coming off, and he's going to go right into my water that I have back here. And then on my Misty, I'm definitely going to start wiping this off. This is going to stick on your Misty lid, but it will also come off. Guys, this one, I'm not going to lie, this is a little bit more cleanup intensive than a lot of things that I typically do. But I think the look is gorgeous and it's totally worth it. But see, it's just, it's scraping right up with my fingernail. If you wanted to, you could definitely soak this down with a cleaner spray and get it all off. I've gotten it all off of mine, so don't worry about it. Just take a little bit of elbow grease to clean that off. All right, I'm not even going to worry about it right now. I will clean this off more intensely later. All right, actually, I can move to my mini Misty, which I'm going to do. Because honestly, when I live stream, I really like to use the mini Misty. Okay, so Rachel said she used a different sponge and Bristol paper and got results that she expected, which is great. So yeah, mess around with paper, all sorts of different ways that you can tackle this. The sponge can be cleaned as well. Oh, so let me ask. So Rachel said that she used a round yellow sponge. Is it just like this? This is half of one. This is just like a regular old sponge. All right, so give that a try as well. All right, I just happen to have one of those lying around. All right, let's see. Move this out of the way again. So while we are waiting for our pieces to dry, let's do our other stamping, right? We have a few other things to stamp today. Actually, some of those pieces are dry and ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of sentiments. So, you know, maybe I want to do a couple so that way I can just die cut them all at once. Have you ever done that before? So you're not sure which one you want to use, but you want to have some choices. I like to pull out a couple and a piece of cardstock. And that way you can die cut and stamp them all at the same time, right? So I just pulled out a couple of these ones from the Swanky Friendship Sentiments. And I'm just going to place them on my cardstock here. There we go. And for these, very simple, just regular black ink, my favorite, my VersaFine Claire, right? Always using this. This is my favorite black ink. I just re-inked it the other day, so now it's nice and beautiful and juicy. I'm ready to stamp just one time. That's all I have to do. Beautiful. All right, so those. And I guess I need, so those will pop right back in here. I'll put them in the right place later. And I'm going to do all my bees. So the bees, we're using them this week. I'm using them this week. And I'm going to use them again, I think in the 4th week. And I'm going to use them the same way. So I may as well do them all right now. And then I don't have to worry about doing them in the 4th week, right? So I'm going to do all of the bees. I only need one for each card that I'm doing today. But I'm going to do all of them. So that way they are done for the last week as well. Okay, so these guys I'm going to heat emboss in black. And I've got my embossing powder here. And I'm ready to go. Okay, so I'm a new fan of the Rabbit Hole Designs anti-static powder. It works so well. It puts out just the right amount. Actually, that was even too much. I just really needed to do that once, and it works perfectly. So I really, really like this tool. I recommend it 100%. Okay, so I'm gonna ink these up in VersaFine Clair as well, because it's going to stay sticky enough on my piece of vellum for the black embossing. So I'm not worried about having to pull out another ink pad and do all that kind of stuff. Plus, it allows me to see that I've got everything stamped perfectly. All right. So check those bad boys out. This stamp set. Oh, I saw this and I was like, oh, I have to have it. All right, so we're going to do just some black embossing on this. So the nice thing about doing black ink and black embossing powder is that if for some reason your embossing powder hasn't covered everything, you still have black ink underneath. So that's always a nice little tip. Like even when I do white embossing, I use a white pigment pad, because then if the white doesn't stick somewhere, it's okay because I've got the ink underneath. All right. So there we go. These guys are all ready for some heat. So we will heat these guys up. I'm using my oh, you know, I didn't preheat it, so it's gonna buzz. Until it heats up. I like this tool, except for this buzz, until, like I said, it heats up. The plastic has to like remold itself or do something funky. All right. So here we go. I think that's done. Nope. There we go. All right. All of these guys, they're so cute. I love them. Just a little bit of embossing powder on my workspace here. Okay, so now I can go ahead and do my die cutting. It's my little bees. We'll pop these all on here. So I can just die cut the ones that I want, or I can die cut them all, right? So it's up to you. If you think you're only going to use a couple of them, then you can just keep them on the sheet until you're ready. Or if you die cut them ahead of time, then you don't have to even worry about getting out the stamps and the dies and the everything when you go to use it, right? So these guys are adorable. I can't really figure out which one is my favorite. I'm like, oh, he's so cute. Oh, no, wait, he's so cute. So Cece wants to know if she can use dishwashing soap. Yes, that's the right words. instead of the Murphy's oil soap to wash up her stamps. Yes, absolutely. The Murphy's oil soap has a little bit more of a grease cutting aspect to it. So sometimes I think that that works just a little bit better. All right, so these guys I'm going to die cut. So there we go. And then I need to die cut my sentiments. Now, one of the things we talked about with the challenge this week was setting up a little system so that you can find the right sentiment. So this makes it super easy for me to find the right sentiment and get them right in place. And that makes it so much easier. I'd still be hunting for the right die right now if I hadn't done this before. Let's see, your kind words. And they learned all the tips and tricks on how to do this right, so that way it works well with your storage system and all that stuff too. So there we go. I like to just add a little bit of extra tape on the back side of these, so that way they are not, you know, they like to move sometimes. So see, like this one, it likes to move a little bit. Of course, getting a little bit of tape on both sides is helpful. All right, so I will run those through my die cut machine. I'm going to do something fun with these beads too. All right, so perfect sentiments ready to go for a little bit later. Excellent. All right, so that is it for our stamping and our die cutting. Now we need to have a little bit of fun with some other stuff here. Okay, I've got these adorable bees. They're so cute, but they need a little color. And, all right, so I'm going to take the Warm Sunshine. This is going to come back later this month. So the water brush markers, just the Warm Sunshine one. And I'm going to use it to color in just these areas of the bee that would normally be yellow. Right? So these are super quick. This is what makes it look like a bee instead of a fly, especially, which one is it? This one sometimes looks like a little fly to me, but as soon as I put the yellow on it, I'm like, oh, yep, that's a bee. So super quick watercolor. You can use markers, anything that you have. I always have these on hand, so I just grabbed the watercolor brush marker. I knew we'd be using it later this month, so I thought, well, hey, we'll just go with that. But you could just use a regular marker or whatever. Okay, but what I'm going to do to make these guys extra special is I'm going to use some of this paper glitz. This is the Autumn Persimmons color. And when you get the paper glitz, you want to mix it up really well because it will separate. But once it mixes, it stays pretty well mixed. But you may, when you open it up, definitely double check and make sure that it's mixed well. All right. So Sue wants to know, do you color on the back of the vellum? In this case, I colored on the front because this is a little bit of a thicker vellum that I'm using. This is a 48-pound vellum, and I think the yellow wouldn't really show through. Plus, I knew I'd be putting the glitz over the top. So I just thought, well, I'll just do it all on the top. No big deal. All right, and again, I mean, like, you don't have to go crazy with glitzy kinds of things, right? Sometimes it adds just the nicest little touch to do something simple like adding this paper glitz on the top. So it adds just a little bit of orange to these guys. It adds some glitter. The glitter on this is like scrumptious. So good. All right, so these guys are all glittered up and ready for a card. Is there another name for the Glitz product? This is specific to Picket Fence because it is like a super intense glitter paste. They have another product called Paper Glaze. Yes, Paper Glaze, and that does not have the glitter in it. So the Glitz is what has the glitter in it. If you don't have this, but you want to add some glittery effect to this, you can, of course, use Stickles, which is another glitter glue kind of thing that absolutely would work. All right, so if you don't have this, Stickles will work as well. All right, so the bees are done. We're going to just set those aside to dry. All right. We're chugging along, guys. It is 4:30, and we're getting into the magic. Okay. So the next step is to do our ink blending on our magic sheets. All right. So what I'm going to use. Oh, come on, back up just a hair. There we go. So what I'm going to use is, here are my sheets. You want to make sure that they're dry, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is just double check and make sure that there's no wet spots on these guys. They seem to be ready to go. Right, so I've got 3 of them. I think we're only going to use 2, but I got a 3rd one just in case, right? So what I like to use, because that Tim Holtz, that new media mat that he has that has the sticky on both sides, like, is always out of stock. Like he came out with it and now it's out of stock. Like, I'm sure it's a supply chain thing. I'm just doing my old school deal with the sticky grid sheets. So I get the full size sticky grid sheets, the ones that are supposed to fit on your Sizzix plates, and I cut them down into smaller pieces. So basically what this is a double-sided Post-it note. And of course it's smaller than the piece of cardstock that I'm working with. So this is I think this is what Tim Holtz used to do before he had them come out with his new media mat. So there we go. So it's sticky on both sides. And the nice thing about that is then I can take my piece of cardstock and put that right on top, and there's no little bump or anything. It's ready to go. It's ready to be ink blended. Okay, so let's take a look at our card again. So this is our sample card, and I used blue. So I kind of had to decide what blue I was going to use. So of course I went to my swatches, and I wanted to use a distress ink because I knew I would get good water splots with it, and I knew it blended well. So I had a choice from what I have, and I had Blueprint Sketch or I had Prize Ribbon. And I kind of felt like Prize Ribbon was more of the blue of Cyanotype than Blueprint Sketch. Even though this is Blueprint and Cyanotype is technically Blueprint, I kind of felt like I liked Prize Ribbon better. So this is the color that I'm going with. Blueprint Sketch works just as well. You can use all sorts of different colors, as we're going to talk about. So let me move a few things away here. All right. So yeah, see, like this one is, I used an Alta New color for this. I think this was Sapphire, which is really beautiful. And see, look, I used a different stamp. This is another Picket Fence stamp. I think it's Base the Sun. All right. And then you can do something that's really fall. This is actually a real leaf. I went outside, I pulled a leaf off the tree. I put some of the distress on there, put it on my paper and brayered it. And that's what I got. So you can do like oranges, right? You can do fun colors like this. This is Salvage Patina and Hickory Smoke. So that's really pretty. Totally different look, right? So be creative, right? If you want to do the blue to get started, Prize Ribbon, the Blueprint Sketch one works just fine. Any blue that you have that is watercolor or that is a water-based ink, use it. You can use Distress Oxides, but of course you're going to get that oxidized look, right? So that's why I'm using Distress Inks, because I'm not getting that white look, right? All right. Oh, guys, this is going to be gorgeous. So here we go. So here's the key with the distress inks. We want to put a lot of ink on it. Saturate it. If you're seeing little light spots, put more ink on it. All right. Unless that's the look you're going for. But I really do like the solid look. See how often I'm going back into my ink pad? I mean, I don't want it to look meh. I want it to look bold. So we're putting tons of ink on this guy. And when you're doing just a solid color, it's so simple, right? You're just putting the color on it. Does not have to be hard. You could do really cool, fun, like black and white version. That would be really neat. Just do black soot. There. Okay, so like totally saturated piece of cardstock. So saturated. All right. And now I need some paper towel. All right, so just like emboss resist, you need some paper toweling to get the ink off of the whites. You don't want this to be wet, you want it to be dry. Rub vigorously. I'm not being gentle with this. That's why I like that I've got that little sticky sheet underneath, because this isn't moving at all. I don't have to worry about holding it or anything like that. It is nice and in place. You see how the white starts to really pop out? There we go. Beautiful, right? Oh, I almost forgot. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do on this is some water spots. So I'm going to take my Distress sprayer and I'm going to just, I could do like a little gentle mist, like with a quick spray like that, or I can just kind of press it and you're going to get more of like a drop. All right, so if I kind of press it down just very slowly, I'm going to get some drops. I'm going to pull those up. Here's my paper towel. There we go. Okay, so Tracy asks, I just ink blended over the image. Yep, exactly. So just ink blend right over that image and then take a dry paper towel and buff out anything that is on top of the Distress Resist spray. All right, so this, I'm going to let this go ahead and let it sit. Let's see. So, Rachel, sorry, I forgot your name for a minute there. She asked if she can go back and add more ink after it's been sitting for a few hours. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This resist is going to continue to resist. So if you want to blend something a little bit more, you want to add in another color, those kinds of things, you want to do even the water spots, you can add those in later. You don't have to do them right now. All right, so that is one. Let's do a blend. So my other sample is this one here. This is an ink blend that you might not think works well, but it does. All right, so here it is. It is Seedless Preserves and Fossilized Amber. So purple and yellow. Can you believe it? These don't normally work well together, but these two colors do. Is Alta New Pigment inks better used than the normal inks? So Paula wants to know, is the Alta New inks better than the normal inks? No, I would actually use the normal inks because they are much like the Distress inks, right? They're dye-based ink. And actually, the other blue sample that I showed you with the sunflower on it, that one was actually with Alta New dye-based inks. And I want to say it was Sapphire, but I might be misremembering the name. All right, so when I do an ink blend, I start from one direction with one color, and then I work my way the other direction with the other color, and then I meet in the middle. All right, so this is Fossilized Amber. And I love these colors because they're very, very fall. You can also use the brush style blenders if you prefer those. For some reason, when I use Distress inks, I like to use the foam blenders. I don't know why, but I do. All right, so now I'm going to start blending in the two colors. All right, so I get a lot of the yellow in there. And then I'm going to come back with the Seedless Preserves. I'm not going to add any ink to the brush. I just want to kind of blend out this little center area. And then I can kind of come back and decide, do I need a little bit more ink here? Maybe. So I can just grab. All right. It's as easy as that. I mean, look at how beautiful that is. So I really love the way these two look together. They make kind of this really cool orangish, brownish, fall-ish color in the center. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. So let's, same process. Dry paper towel, rub, rub, rub. Yeah, I think the reason the sponge gives a better results on this particular technique is because it really allows you to saturate. A brush will give you a more soft look. So if you're looking for a soft look, you can do that, but you won't get as dramatic a difference between the white and whatever color you put down. All right, so I have to tell you, do not be tempted to put water on your paper towel or anything. You just want to keep working at it. Find another clean spot and just keep working at it. It will come off. All right, so there we go. All right, so let's do a little spray on this one as well. There we go. So now we have two gorgeous backgrounds. Check those out. La, la, la. And I've got another one to mess around with. So, you know, maybe challengers, maybe we will mess around with this one in our Q&A later. All right, so I'm Terry. Yeah, I just did this on regular white cardstock. All right, so I'm going to go cut these down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 so they will fit on my card bases. So these little extra bits, I might save these for like another little project because they look really cool. So I'm going to keep those for sure. All right, let's get these on some card bases. And since we've got everything else done, I mean, like they're done. They're ready to go. We're going to put them on the card bases. We're going to put sentiments on them. We're going to put our bees on them. We're going to put some sequins on them. All right, so 1 hour, 2 cards. I mean, technically even 3 because I did that third background and I've got plenty of bees and sentiments to do another card, right? So there we go. Yeah, these guys, I mean, I was really happy with how they turned out. That's why they were like my feature card for all of our promotion. So I love this card. I love all the cards that we are making this month. I think they are inspired. I hope you are inspired by them. Look at this. It doesn't need anything else. It doesn't need a sentiment. It doesn't need a bee. It doesn't even need sequins or anything. You could just write something on the inside and send this just as is. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous work of art, right? Same thing with this one. Doesn't need anything. We could put this on the card and be like, I'm sending it. Right? No extra effort needed. That's why I said the B stamp, the sentiment stamp, you don't need them in order to do this challenge this week, this month. They're nice to have, not necessary. Although, I mean, like a good sentiment set that has coordinating dies, sign me up. I really like the sentiments from Picket Fence that have all of the coordinating dies because it makes it so easy. I don't have to worry about fussy cutting them, even though, you know, I've been known to fussy cut. Fussy cutting sentiments is not my favorite. All right, let's zoom in again. All right. Here we go. So we've got some B's, we've got some sentiments. That's some of those. All right. So these little sentiment, or these little foam strips, these are from scrapbook.com. I love these. They are 1/8 of an inch. They fit on the back of these sentiments like perfect. Right? Makes it so easy. Just line that up. Ta-da. Simple, done. These guys, because now they're colored and everything, you can definitely just use a little foam square on the back of them. And that's all you really need for these guys too. So, you know, if you wanted to pop him on there somewhere and then grab a couple of sequins. I'm pulling from 2 sequins containers because this one, this is the Black Russian sequins set, and it is, so I don't like that one. It's got these huge honkers in here, and I love these guys, but not, it doesn't have the super small ones. So like these guys, right? I'm always doing these in little sets of 3. So this little kind of navy bluish black one works great in there. And then over here, I can pull in some of these teeny tiny ones. This is a Vegas Baby. And do a couple of, a medium one and a small one. So I'm just pulling from like the black and blackish colored ones from both of the sets. You see how nice that looks? Just the black on this one. And that works really well. I need to refill this glue bottle. I think I said that last week too. So the challengers right now are talking about, we have a little chat going on about people's names. We have 3 pennies in the challenge. I think that's great. And I had to go back and look when I commented on it if I spelled it like as in pennies, plural, I-E-S versus pennies, Y-S. I did do it right. Somebody says, Tracy says, with all the bling she has, she couldn't believe she didn't have any black sequins. Yeah, you could use something else then. I mean, grab from your stash, right? The black looks great, but on the other one, we're going to pop some color on that, right? Gorgeous. Okay, second one. There is, and I'm not using that sentiment, but the last sentiment that I stamped up was the one that says, you help me to see that it's okay just to be. And that's kind of nice. It's like a little play on words. It just says B, B-E, but if you use the B's, of course, that would work out really well, right? Someone wants to know what the purple color is. This is Seedless Preserves. It is like my favorite purple. All right, so for this one, we're going to go a little bling-tastic. Let's use this little guy. Let's just use the little dude. The little guy. All right, so we are wrapping up today. I hope you guys enjoyed our time together. If you're in the challenge, of course, we are going to be meeting at 5:30, so 30 minutes from now-ish, over on Zoom for our private chat, Q&A. Ask me anything about today's techniques, today's projects, anything craft related. And we'll get you guys from collector to creator by the time we're done with this month for sure, right? I know you guys are already creating. You're doing amazing work. I hope today was inspiring for you. To see me actually create the projects live. I know you saw the techniques, but sometimes it helps to see it live and to ask questions as we go. Again, you'll be able to do that when we are in the Q&A session too. So definitely make sure you guys are headed over to that shortly. If you're not in the challenge, boo-hoo, I want you to head on over to NicoleWattCreates.com/technique freebie. Grab the technique freebie, get on my mailing list, so that way you don't miss out on the next challenge. All right. But if you are not a part of the challenge, take on the challenge anyway. Grab yourself a stamp set that will work like this. Grab your Distress Resist spray that's been collecting dust on your shelf for probably years. And give today's project a try. If it doesn't work right away, remember what I said, practice. If you looked at the chat today, you saw people saying, oh, it makes me feel better to know that a little bit of practice, or I can do this, or I can do that. There's different ways to attack this particular technique to create something gorgeous, right? I mean, wouldn't you just love to send this card? I know I would. All right, guys. So there you go. Today's project's all done. Challenge week number 1 in the books. So we will be back next week with another amazing project. If you love today's class, do click on the thumbs up. Don't forget to share out today's class. Even though we're over here, they can always catch the replay. If you love what I'm doing, I'd love for you to share. I will see you all here next week for another Running with Scissors and week 2 of our challenge. Until then, guys, happy crafting.